have a hair on my nose. His name is Marcellus and he is brilliant. Actually, no, personality is the wrong word. There's loads of personality in the book, right? Like, who generally isn't at this point? Hello, my beautiful bookish besties, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maria and I like books a lot. So you might be wondering, Miss Thing, it is, well, it's the 9th of June right now, so it's going to be the 10th, 11th, 12th of June by the time this comes out. You're definitely right. But we're going to do a wrap up of the books that I did read in May. I read 10 books and we're going to yap a little bit about them, what I thought, what I rated them, and so on and so forth. However, I thought it might be fun to also go over some of the recent acquirements I've gotten to my shelves because there's a lot. I have been very kindly gifted books. I have also very kindly spent money on books recently enough that you will see in a different vlog. So I'm very excited to talk about those, but I think let's talk about the wrap up first. So as you know, I mentioned it a few times, I am currently in the middle of a giant mass-verse read-along, and in the month of May, we read 3 books in that. So we finished off for now the... Oh, there's a note in here. Oh. We finished off the ACOTAR series for now, where we will be returning for A Court of Silver Flames, but we read A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series, where we're following Feyre in... I have a hair on my nose. Where we're following Feyre as she is traversing the world of Fae. I feel like this series is so popular now that everyone pretty much knows the plot. However, this is the 3rd book and we do have some trials and tribulations and reveals and redemptions in this book, so I won't go too much into detail, but this is my favorite book in the ACOTAR series. I love the political intrigue, I love the character development, I love the world building that we see in this, and there's so much more depth to the characters that we've met already, as well as plots and twists and emotional depth that I just don't think you get in the other books as much as you do in this. So it is a chunker, but it's so worth it. And if you haven't picked up the ACOTAR series yet, it is such a good starter fantasy that really gets you going into the whole realm of romantasy, and you can't go wrong, really. So yeah, that was the first book we finished. Technically we finished Shield of Sparrows, but I'm pretty sure I've included that in the other one. If not, I also love Shield of Sparrows. Then I read Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, which is a really fun, almost magical realism contemporary fiction where we are following an older woman, a pensioner, a widow, who works the night shift in an aquarium and befriends a giant Pacific octopus. Yeah. His name is Marcellus and he is brilliant. And we also follow the dual timeline of, what's the other character's name? Cameron. And we are also following Cameron. So Tova and Cameron are 2 human main characters, and then Marcellus also has his own storyline. And this was a really, I wouldn't say fun, it was enjoyable. It was very comforting, very cozy. But we are following Tova as she navigates her existence after the loss of her husband, and she also lost her son very early on. And she's now trying to figure out, like, come to terms with the age and her own abilities, as well as like the ever lasting hole in her heart from when her son went missing, and that the mystery of his missing was never really solved. Marcellus is such a fun character in this book. He's sharp, he's snarky, he's sassy, but his humor is so dry. Like, he's not trying to be funny. It's just his aquatic observations throughout the book is hilarious to me. And I did watch the movie right after finishing the book, and as much as I enjoyed the movie and I love Sally, what's her name? The actor who played Tova, it just didn't connect with me the same way that the book did. So if you do have the choice between the book and the movie, I would recommend the book. It's a relatively quick read as well. I think I pelted through this within like a few days, and I gave it 4 stars. It was really fun. It was a lot of heartfelt humor. It's very warm and bright, and I think it's a perfect book for the summer. Then I was gifted an e-arc of The Diary of a Sesh Hound by Claire Owen Berry. And this follows a young girl. She navigates college life, she navigates tragedy, loss of ex-partners, as in like breakups, as well as like new love and borderlining the conflicts that comes with being young and wanting to party and have fun, as well as like the responsibilities and being an adult and navigating family drama and traumatic experiences, like very traumatic experiences. And this is based in Ireland, so it was indeed very familiar. But at the same time, I also felt a bit of a disconnect between the story. Now, I did give it 3 stars. I did found it enjoyable, and I had general moments where I was laughing out loud. Like some of these quotes were really hysterical, and I knew some of these characters from everyday life here, right? However, there was so many bad things that happened. Like it felt very much you were bombarded with some of these bad things happening, and some definitely worse than others. But because something was always happening to the main character, you kind of felt this disconnect between them and the actual plot of the story. The title is very much what the book is, Diary of a Sesh Hound. Following Rasheen, and Rasheen, the main plot of the book, question mark, I think is her figuring out who she is and who she wants to be and who she wants to be with. And she's going a little bit back and forth between her ex Connor as well as her new flame Ronan. And Ronan's really into her. Connor is still very much into her. And for me, it felt a little bit like she was kind of just stringing the 2 guys along throughout the story. And I didn't love that as much because these 2 guys seem to generally care about her a lot. And I don't know, I think as fun as the book was, it lacked a little bit more depth for me. To have all of these really tough themes included in the book, there was not enough to follow up with it. And ultimately, I do think if you're looking for a nostalgic, very Irish read, you'll have that here. But if you're looking for a little bit more depth, a little bit more personality, actually, no, personality is the wrong word. There's loads of personality in the book. These girls have loads of personality. But if you're looking for maybe a less emotionally charged book, this will be it. You know? Yeah. Anyway, next book I read. Next book I read was Binding 13, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because I have recorded a full vlog of me reading it. I'm currently in the middle of keeping 13, so I'm going to be doing vlogs of 2, so reading Binding and keeping 13 together, and I'm going to post that vlog, and then I'm going to do saving and redeeming or saving 6, whatever order that is, together, and then I'm going to do 7 and 10. Because there's 6 books out, and I just think that makes sense. I know the last 2 books are not the same couple, like the first 4 are, well, the first 2 and the second pairs of 2 are. Anyway, but I do still think that the 2 books together make sense. Maybe, I might be wrong. But we're following Johnny and Shannon in Binding 13 to young adults, I'd say. Shannon is 16 going 17, and Johnny is 17 going 18. And they're navigating a lot of very harsh truths of living in the is it early 2000s? Ireland. They're based in Cork. We're seeing Tom in college. We're seeing them kind of grow together and figuring out life, maneuvering some extreme hardship. And this is not an easy book. There's a lot of emotional depth to this book. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of really sad events happening, and you're seeing this treated with a lot of care. I thought. I've heard people refer to this as glorifying trauma in a way, but without doing too much information, I related to some of the characters in this book a lot, and I did not find it glorifying trauma, but rather someone using writing in a way to deal with said trauma. And I think that comes across really well in the book. I gave it 4.5 stars. There was just a little bit like, I can't even tell you what it was that was holding me back from the 5 stars, but you know, it's just a feeling. Like, it didn't give me 5 stars, but it was a book that I really, really enjoyed. and that I can find myself rereading in the future. And my God, some of these scenes, these kids are so fucking funny. Like, Gypsy has me in stitches more than once, and you'll see that. But like, for a book that is so dense and so heavily charged with very sad themes, this was also such an enjoyable read, and I found that I loved the characters. I fell in love with all of these characters so much through the hardships, through the ups and the downs, and the relationships they created. And I cried with them, I laughed with them, I giggled and kicked my feet, as well as biting my nails down out of nerves. And I get why the series is this hyped. I did not notice if there was a whole lot of grammar issues, which I have been told that I might hate in it. I didn't pick up. I just flew through it. Now, I will say I tried to listen to the audiobook, and that is atrocious. And whoever says the audiobook is good, you're lying. I've never heard a Cork accent. But yeah, no, this was really, really good. Then after binding, and also kind of during, because it was my palate cleanser, I was listening to the cheat sheet by Sarah Adams, where we are following Bree and Nathan. Bree and Nathan are best friends, and this is Best Friends to Lovers, which is one of my favorite contemporary romance tropes, actually. I think it's so fun, and mainly because my life is Best Friend to Lovers, right? We're following Bree and Nathan, who are both terribly in love with each other, but are too afraid of saying anything and admitting their feelings, until a very drunk Bree accidentally admits it to a reporter that then reports it online with a very drunk video of said girl confessing all of her emotions. And then cue a brand deal where they're fake dating in order to earn a bit of cash but also uphold Nathan's image. And it's so much fun. Like, Sarah Adams does rom-com fantastically. This is every cliche in the book in the absolute best way. I listened to it when I was doing my hot girl walks, and this is okay. Come close. I have to break your heart now. The narrator, one of them is Teddy Hamilton for Nathan. I'm not a Teddy Hamilton girl. I don't particularly enjoy him narrating my books. I don't know what it is. It's just something about his voice that disconnects with me. However, Teddy Hamilton as Nathan Donaldson was fantastic. He was charming, he was hilarious, he was intriguing, he was romantic, he was sexy. Guys, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Really, really enjoyed this, and I gave it 4 stars. Sarah Adams is one of my auto-buy authors. I love her rom-coms. They are the perfect silly goofy time, and I cannot recommend her romance enough. Then we continued on a read-along and started Throne of Glass after completing ACOTAR for now. And we started with, of course, Throne of Glass. Now, the first time I read this series, I actually started with Assassin's Blade, because I am a type of person who likes to read a series from the first book in the stories and following it chronologically. So since I had done that the first time around, I was then willing to try the most recommended route, which is reading Assassin's Blade as book 3. So we started with Throne of Glass, where we're following Selena. She's Ardalan's assassin, and she is somehow ended up in the mines of Endovir, where she's a slave, and she gets an opportunity from the crown prince Dorian, who comes to retrieve her in order to be his champion. The king has started a competition in Ardalan to find out who will be his assassin, the king's assassin, and in order to get this role, achieve this, they have to complete a certain set of tasks and competitions, right? So we have trials, which is one of my favorite things in fantasies of all time. We have magic. I just realized it wasn't actually technically Dorian, it was actually Captain Westfall. It was actually Cale who offered her this deal. I'm already getting it wrong. But we're following then Selena as she goes through like court life, adapting after having been in the mines for over a year, her partition in all of these trials, as well as solving hidden mysteries lurking underneath the castle's grounds. There is love, there is trials, of course, there is unexpected friendships, there is hidden secrets, there is riddles and games and fights and ghosts and all of the things that are good and bad in the world. And if you haven't read Throne of Glass, babes, this is your sign. You need to pick up the book, start reading, because you're missing out on a really good fantasy world. I give this 4 stars. Then after Throne of Glass, I actually read Score, which was an art given to me via NetGalley by Kennedy Ryan. I read one other Kennedy Ryan book, which is Before I Let Go, which I really enjoyed. I loved her voice, I loved her writing, and I was very intrigued to read more books by authors of color, because I don't read enough of them and I want to be better at that. And I fell in love with her writing, and she just happened to be an author of color as well. So I definitely wanted to add more of her books to my shelves in general. Also, if you have any recommendations of BIPOC authors, please do leave me that recommendations down in the comments. I want to read more diverse. I do think I'm doing a quite good job, but I don't think I'm doing a good enough job. So if you do have any recommendations, please let me know. I would love to add them to my TBR. Anyway, back to The Score. The Score is technically book 2 in her series Hollywood Renaissance, where the first one is Real, I think. I have not read Real, but I do want to, and I have it on my Kobo. I'll get through it. But in Score, we are following Verity and Monk as their university sweethearts have a really nasty breakup, and then years later reconnect on the set of a huge Hollywood movie where Verity is the screenwriter and Monk is the score writer. So he writes the music. And it's an incredible emotional charged book while also still being funny, drenched in fantastic culture. I love anything that happens on a movie set. So I was eating this up. I powered through this book like there's no tomorrow, and it did get a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved the focus on queerness. Verity is a bisexual woman. She's very proud of being that. I love the focus on disability and living with hidden disabilities and talking about those. I love the focus on Hollywood, and especially like the black side of Hollywood, not the dark side, don't get me wrong, but how black artists and actors and creators have been treated through the past. It was a very present part of this book, which I found really fascinating to read more about. And these themes are some very real things that we still see today. So it was very interesting to read and experience through the medium of a romance book, while also sitting with the feeling that this was something that could have happened. Like this could literally happen today and be a very real thing. And I find that Kennedy Ryan does that really well. She writes really realistically, and I thoroughly enjoy her writing. I love the way that she'll take you into a place and then you're there. Like her way of describing setting and emotion and tension and feelings and character, and she's very, very talented, and I highly recommend Score. That will be out. It's already out, I believe. It's already out. I'll put the publishing date right there, somewhere over here. Then after that, we read Crown of Midnight, which is book number 2 in the Throne of Glass series. I didn't read a whole lot this month. I've been doing a lot of overtime at work lately. It'll be worth it for that house. So it has meant that there'll be a lot less time for reading, unfortunately. But Crown of Midnight, we are following the aftermath of everything that happens in Throne of Glass, the outcome of that competition, what happens next, as well as more mysteries and events happening. This follows on the reveals that happen in the end of the first book and goes more into depth of it. We have more world building, we have more political intrigue, we have more character depth, and we also have more drama. And I'm trying to be very good at not spoiling any of the books here, so that's pretty much all I'm going to say about Crown of Midnight. Again, I cannot stress how much I love this series, and if you are looking for a very griping romantasy world, but more so like romantasy, yeah, but fantasy, I highly recommend Throne of Glass. And then last but not least, I read Dark and Dawn by E.J. Mello, which is the second book in the Way of Wings duology. The first one is Scorched Skies. Scorched Skies was one of the first books that I read on NetGalley, where Dark and Dawn, now we have full circle. I have both books. I actually don't have any physical copies of these two books yet, but it is books that I would very much like to include on my shelves. So obviously this is the second book in the series, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But what I will tell you is that Scorched Skies, I gave this one 4 stars, 4.5 actually. I gave both of them 4.5 because Scorched Skies is also 4.5. In Scorched Skies, we're in the world of Cadra, where we are divided between the Volari skies and the world where they have magic and the others who don't have any magic. Oh yeah, sorry. I was trying to read my review from like 2025 and I definitely changed my way of writing reviews a lot. God. Anyway, our main characters are Tanwen and Solya, and Tanwen is such a fantastic, strong female character. I thoroughly enjoy her mindset, her strength, and her way of maneuvering. Tanwen gets a job in the Volari castle where she works her way up to becoming the princess's handmaiden. And during this, she also catches the eye of Solya, who is the crown prince. And what more do I need to say? We have forbidden love, we have court drama, we have political intrigue, and there is very thick themes of racism in this book in a fantasy setting that I find very beautifully delved into. I know that's a weird sentence to say because racism is never beautiful, but I think it is treated with respect and putting a lot of highlight on it that it makes you think a lot. I will say though, trigger warnings, there's a lot of like dark themes in these books that I would recommend checking up on before you delve into, just for your own mental health. It's not a super dark book, but some of the themes can be quite, just saying. So read with your own health in mind. But yeah, I love the duology. I think it is a really strong fantasy duology with a lot of intense world building, a lot of lore, a lot of religious information thrown at you, but in like a really creative and intriguing way. So if you're looking for a very intense but great fantasy with a little bit of spice and a lot of tension and a lot of yearning and a lot of fantasy, this one would be a fantastic read. And that is the 10 books that I read in May. It seems like so little compared to April. But yeah, hopefully I'll make up for it in June. We have a great TBR. I have a lot of fantastic books on NetGalley. I'm very excited for that. Now let's speed run through the books that I have recently achieved. I'm not going to read the blurb. I'm just going to tell you what books I've got, where I got them, and obviously I'm excited to read them, but yeah. Okay, so first up, we have Game On. I bought this in Waterstones at my latest book date with Hannah. This is the third book in the, what's this series called? Into Darkness series by Navessa Allen. I love Lights Out. I liked Caught Up. And I've heard Game On is even better. Then I picked up Spiral from Vinted. Actually, someone was selling it for €2. This is the Sprayed Edge. Now, it's the first one of the Sprayed Edge, and I think I might want to collect all of them because they are very cute. But I read this on NetGalley when they came out, and I really loved it, so now I wanted my physical trophy. Then I received Broken Dove by Penguin recently. It's the second book where the first book is Silver Elite? Yeah? Yes, Silver Elite. Bro. Yes, okay. And I have not read Silver Elite yet. I do have it on my shelf and I bought it, and I'm very excited to read these two back to back because I heard this one's fantastic. Then I bought Hollow by the Twisted Sisters, Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I have not read any of the Zodiac Academy. I do have the first book, The Awakening, but I haven't read it yet. Look how pretty this copy is. Wait. Let me show you. Oh. No, I didn't intentionally buy this. Oh, get naked, will ya? I didn't intentionally buy this fancy copy, but it was the only one I could get in Ireland. Believe it or not. Look at the dragon. She's so gorgeous. It was the only one I could get in Ireland for like a decent price. Yes, I spent 20 quid on a book that I don't know if I like, but I have been recommended to read this in an upcoming reading blog by one of my favorite book creators. So obviously I wanted a physical copy for that video. Then I got Experts in a Dying Field by Patrick Frayne, also by Penguin Ireland. I literally received this today, so I'm very excited to read this. This is an Irish author, it's a debut, and I've heard nothing about it, but I am very excited. I think it's going to be very funny. I said very a lot there, but stick with me. Then I got Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. I did buy this for my partner's money because he gifted me for my birthday 27 books for my 27th birthday. So this is one of those 27s. We're following a content creator who is promoting like a homestead life, and she's being transported back to the time that she's promoting on her social media. So I've seen this everywhere for the past 2 months, and I'm very excited to read it myself. Then I'm going to show you 2 for 1. We have The Wings That Bind and The Bonds That Burn, which is 2 and 3 in the Bloodwing Academy series. I read the first one 2 months ago and I adored it, gave it 5 stars, and I cannot wait to continue on the series. So obviously I got the 2 covers to match. Am I becoming a hardback girly? I don't know how I feel about that. Then I received Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. You did see this in the previous video where I pulled it for my TBR. I received this from Penguin as well. This is a honeymoon romance where best friends to lovers, where the best friend is basically whisking the bride away after her husband to be leaves her at the altar, and they go on the honeymoon together, and obviously there's sparks, they fall in love. So I love Carly Fortune's writing and I'm very excited to pick this up. I've only heard good things, so speed running, babes. Then I received Song of the Sorrows by Brady Otto from my beautiful bestie JC, who is the queen of beautiful editions, and I'm so excited to add this one on. Oh, there's no end papers, I'm sad. But I don't know anything about this book actually. Like, I'm very intrigued. I know this is about a princess who becomes like an assassin, like sneaky lady. But it is such a gorgeous copy and I am beyond excited to have that on my shelves and read it eventually. Then I got Light Wielder. I got a gift card for my birthday and I did immediately use it when I saw this was in early. I'm gonna bleep that out because I don't want them to get in trouble for putting it out early. But I did buy this literally the 1st of June. And it was not meant to be out until today, the 9th. So I did get to read it early and it was amazing and I loved it so much. Anyway, you'll hear that in my June wrap up. Then I also bought Night of the Moth, Rachel Gillick, the Waterstones sprayed back. I fell in love with these sprayed edges. Sprayed back, did I say that? I love the sprayed edges in this, and I'm very excited to finally read this. I've heard, look at the art. Oh my god, that's stunning. I love it. I'm so excited to read this. I read One Dark Window by her and I love the dark gothic style of writing. I find it so gorgeous and I'm very intrigued to pick this one up. Then I received Nightshade by Autumn Woods by Bestie Lucy on Instagram for my birthday, which was so incredibly kind of her, and I am so excited to read this series. I've heard fantastic things from my friends on Insta and that's all I know. I just don't know what it's about. I will. On my little birthday spree, another book of the 27 is Face Off by Chelsea Curto, a hockey romance, and I am incredibly excited to start the DC Stars because I have heard fantastic things about this universe, and if you know me, I am a little bit of a hockey girly. I mean, who isn't, right? Like, who generally isn't at this point? But I have yet to venture into this universe. There's a folded page. Why? No, that's really sad. Anyway, but yeah, I am very much looking forward to venturing into this universe. We're down to the last 3. Then I also got God of Malice for my gift card, where I got Light Wielder. I have not read any Rena Kent as of yet, but I really wanted to venture onto the Legacy of Gods series. I know this is very dark, but I am intrigued to pick it up. I just realized the main character's name is Killian Carson. Killian with a K. You just know. You're meant to spell it with a C. That's the English way of spelling it. The Irish would never. Anyway, again, I know nothing of it other than it's dark and it's a series, and I am excited because I think I'm ready for a little bit more dark romance. Maybe. Actually, if you have dark romance recs, also put them below, please. Thanks. And then last but not least, I went into a used bookstore where I found Drums of Auden and Voyager by Diana Gabaldon, which is the Outlander books, book 2 and 3, I think. or 3 and 4. 3 and 4, yeah. These are beautiful editions of the books, and I love the Outlander series. I love the Outlander books, and I am enjoying continuing on my collection of the books. I need to finish the series as well. I actually do have more books as well to add on to it, but that would take another day. To be fair, a lot of them are not like recent, I just haven't talked about them. So if you want to know more about my unread books on my shelf, let me know in the comments. And that's it. That is all of my recent additions to my shelves, as well as my reading wrap up for May, coming at you hot and very late. But that's it. I'm very excited for the book of reading this month. I've already read Hamnet and Lightwielder and Hit or Miss by Elle Kelk, and the Island of the Sea Women. So I already read 4 books, and I'm currently reading Daggermouth, and oh my god, Daggermouth is unreal. I can't wait to go back to bed and read now. That is everything for me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed me yapping a lot. I do apologize for lack of video last week. However, I needed a little bit of a break to catch up. I have worked about 68 hours of overtime over the last 3 weeks, which is pretty much around 11 hours a day plus 2 Sundays of 8 hours work. So I'm a little bit tired, and I've not had much time, and I want to put out content that I love. So I hope you did enjoy. I always love yapping with you. I'm glad we had this moment to get back to it and connect again, bestie, because I missed you. If there is any of these books that you have read or haven't read but you're intrigued about, please do let me know. I love to hear your thoughts and questions and queries and concerns and all of the cues. But without further ado, I will wrap up this video and say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a like, or maybe even give it a little comment. How's your day? Or maybe even subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. I'm gonna say goodbye now. I'll see you next week. Have a fantastic rest of your day or evening or morning or whatever. Love you. Bye!